Welcome to Grandma Nana Stitches, floss tube number 4. This is my third time shooting this video. I hope this one goes well. Not sure what happened. I think it might be operator malfunction, but you know how it goes sometimes. I'm Grandma Nana Stitches on Instagram. My email is grandmananastitches@gmail.com. Welcome, everybody. I can't say how much this community has meant to me over the last month or so that I have been recording. I just, by accident, was listening to my horoscope this morning on YouTube, and she said that people were talking about me. So I hope that's all in a good way. I've really enjoyed doing these. It helps me to keep motivated, although this week has been an exceptionally, not difficult, but not a lot of motivation there this week. So I thought it was time that I need to do these on a regular basis. So life has been good. The dog has broken out in her usual infection, and so sleeping has been at a premium. Now hopefully I'll get a call back today and they'll put her on the antibiotics. So that should help within a day or two, and we'll go another round and see what happens. So it's interesting with her. She can be good for so long, and then something just triggers a reaction in her. Usually it's a stress-related event. I do believe this time it was moving furniture around. Funny as that seems. Really stressed her out. My daughter was here on Sunday with my grandson, and they were doing a few things here that I needed done, and then we decided to move the living room around, which is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I haven't liked it the last way I had it. It's still a work in progress in this home. Trying to get things in the best possible light, so that I have light and I have room, and I will eventually, if I need a walker, be able to get the walker through. As you know, I live in a single wide mobile home, and it's only 750 square feet. So that's an issue. Although the hallway is big enough, and all of the doors are big enough, except maybe the closet doors, but not that I'm anticipating that in the near future, but I have to plan in that direction, knowing the way I have arthritis, and I walk with a cane now more for support of my knees than anything else. But yeah. So another interesting thing that happened this past week is I did go to the Stitchy group here in my community. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 girls, ladies there. It was from 10:30 to noon. It was it's always hard for me to put myself out one-on-one with people. I don't know. I've always been that way. I guess a little shy in that respect. It's easier for me to do it on YouTube than it is in person. But I'm getting over that, going to stitching retreats, and that's kind of got me over the hurdle. But anyway, I went to the stitching group. It was a great group of people. They weren't all stitchers. Some were knitters, some were embroiderers, some were crocheters, and it was just a really eclectic group of women. Ages ranging from my age, which is 75, maybe a little old, some were a little older, some were a little younger, and then some younger girls. So it was exciting, and it was good to have a community close by so that I don't feel isolated so much. The more people I meet, the less I'll feel that isolation. But the funny thing that did happen is I took the Lindy Stitches project that I have been working on that my daughter gave me for my birthday. And I have a rolly cart that's by my stitching area in the living room. And on that, my floss hangs for the projects that I'm working on currently. And I walked out the door with my bag, my project bag, and forgot to pick up my floss. So I was forced into talking a lot, and it was great. I had a wonderful time. I also participated a week ago Sunday in an early morning excuse me, Zoom with my oldest daughter and her friend. Oh, the name escapes me. Pam, I think. I'll have to check on that. She has Pat's Golden Needles, as it is. Sorry. So we carried on about an hour, 45 minutes, stitch along that morning. Everybody, they were stitching on Country Cottage Samplings, Year in the Woods. They're working on The Bear right now. I think this is their 7th one. They work on it every Sunday morning while they're together, and they've been able to accomplish quite a bit. Like I said, they have 6 of them done. I do have those projects, and I did start the Fox, but I haven't kept up with them, obviously. And I thought this would kind of help. And then there's also a Zoom meetup on Wednesdays. I believe that one is at 6:30 in the evening. And that's a bunch of people that we met at StitchCon last year set up a Zoom meeting. And I've not attended, been very laxed in getting involved in that for some reason, and decided that it was time doing flosstube that I needed to connect out in the community. So I didn't get on last Wednesday, but I plan on getting on tomorrow night. Excuse me while I get a little coffee in my Valentine mug or cup. Happy Valentine's, everybody. It's not that I forgot, but yeah, I said Happy Valentine's to Felicia this morning, and she didn't say anything back, so I talk to her all the time. Someday I'll get a response. But yeah, that was my week, and between doctor's appointments and that, I was going to see my oldest daughter tonight for dinner, but everybody is sick, so I can't get involved with the medication that I'm on for my eyes. It cuts down my immune system, so I can't be around people that are sick. So that being said, we'll move on to whips. All is good. I worked on, I had quite a little work done on the Parade of Elephants. You know, that's my primary piece this year. This right now, trying to get it done for a gift. So I had charted what the name and stuff that I needed for underneath the Parade of Elephants. And I had her name, which is Sandra Grace Ruthven. She's named after my sister, who passed away about 20 some years ago from leukemia. And her birth date is June 11th of 2022. And I had the June 11th in, I had the 2022, and realized after I was done that the 11 was too far away from June, and it really looked off kilter. So I took it out, and I have yet to put it back in. But this is how the whole thing looks. I mean, a good week if I worked earnestly on this, and I will probably take this to the Stitchy group Thursday, depending on where I am at it. And yeah, I have picked, this is the first project that I've really picked a lot of my own colors. I didn't like the muted look of it when it came to giving it for a birth announcement to a little girl, so I've tried to perk it up a little bit here and there. Now the floss that I used for the name, it's gorgeous. And I debated on whether I could use it because it's really a purple base. But this is what it is. I hope it shows up well. If I twist it a little bit. You know, it's very, very variegated. And it's coming out on this really nice. I like the way it looks. This is from Bryn and Needle. I think they're a Nova Scotia company. I know they're Canadian. And this is Spoiled Rotten. I know they have a website or an Etsy shop. I think it's a website, brimandneedle.com. So yeah, I was glad I used it. I was kind of nervous about using it, but I really like the way it turned out. Because this is on a light color and I don't need a lot of light, although the room that we stitch in is got a whole wall of windows. So if it's a nice day, there'll be plenty of light to stitch by. So I was hoping to have all of the name and the date of birth and all the statistics done, but that hasn't happened, so I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I'm just going to keep plugging away at it. The other one that I worked on quite a bit, it doesn't look much different than last time, but is the Fox by Country Cottage Samplings. This is being stitched on 32 count Timberwolf by Seraphim Fabrics. It's a, like I said, a 32 count. My light does not help. I have a big ring light over here and it's, I don't know, I'm not happy with it. See if that's a little better. I love this guy. So this 32 count is by, like I said, by Seraphim. It's a little tighter weave than the cashel linen that I'm working on for the Elephants on Parade, which is also a 32 count. And being darker fabric, I need a lot of light when I work on this. And I don't think I mentioned that when we moved the living room around, I made 3 stitching areas. So literally I can just set my projects up. I have 2 stands and the other place I stitch holding my small Q snaps. And I have a Lowry stand and a daylight stand. So hopefully I'm going to put my cardinals on one and put it over by my stitching chair. And then the couch I sit on at night usually and work on what I can hold in hand, like this next piece, which is Bury Me with My Needle by Lindy Stitches. It says, Bury me with my needle, some linen in my hand, for I would not be idle when I reach the promised land. My daughter gave me this for my birthday last year, and my God, it fits because she's always talking to me about how much stuff I have. So, and I've only worked on this a little bit this week. I did some more of, I think, this down here. Well, I think I did all of this down here. The lettering goes very fast. And this fabric is 30 or 16 count Jack Rum by Fabrics by Stephanie. So this is really easy. This is the one I took to the stitching group and didn't have the floss with it. Whatever project I take this week, I'll have to make sure I pick up my floss. So those are the main 3 whips that I've worked on this week. I haven't really crocheted much. I did unpack another small box out of my storage shed, and it had more projects in it, knitting and crocheting, that I had packed when I moved down here 2 years ago. And yeah, one of them's almost done. The other one is a sweater for a baby. I used to donate Afghan or blankets and sweater sets to the neonatal unit at Burlington, Vermont. We had a hospital near us that was associated with them. It's like any of the teaching hospitals, the colleges in Vermont, and it's a ferry ride over to Burlington. So, but we'd take them to the facility in Plattsburgh, New York, and they would send them over to the neonatal unit. So I have in plans, and I'll talk about them at the end of the video so that anybody that's not interested in seeing that can go on to other floss tubers. This is a new start that I'm going to have. It's my family tree. I would like to get the tree done and all the boxes done before next winter. And the reason for that is I have a niece that's been working on genealogy, and I've had my genealogy on my dad's side has been well documented. There's a couple of books. They were very prominent in the Boston area during the 16, I think he came here in 1640. So when that Boston was being formed, my would have been an uncle many times removed, donated a lot of property so that Boston could be, a city could be built. So I have found this 28 count Lugana. It's by Seraphim, and it's called Antique Lace. And the modeling on this is fabulous. Not sure where I picked this up. But I'm going to use this. And I'm planning on starting that hopefully before I do another floss tube. And then I'll just set up a day a week to stitch on it and hopefully get the tree done by, the tree in the box is done by next winter. And I know last time I talked about this design. It's called Adjust Your Sails. There were 2 or 3 people very interested in doing this. I'm going to put this away before it doesn't. I had started it on a very dark gray fabric probably 2 years ago and didn't really like the way the fabric was. So what's called for is recommended fabric color is gray. I found what I had too dark. I think a lighter weight mottled gray would have been, or lighter color mottled gray would have been fine. But I did find in a stash that I had purchased from an estate a 28 count even weave, looks like. Doesn't really say what it is, but it's a blue mottled. I think this would also be good for Christmas ornaments. That's blowing out completely. That's a little better. So I'm going to restart it on that. And I'm just putting it out there. If anybody would like to start with me, just let me know and we'll set up a time and do a stitch along. So these are the called for colors. And I may change a couple of them out to over dye. These are all DMCs, but I might switch the red for a licorice red or a, not quite sure. So we'll see how it goes. I was worried that this one wouldn't show up, but I think, yeah, it's plenty dark. So those are my 2 new starts for the next week or so. And I don't have much haul. I did make a purchase at Hobby House, but I have not been up there to pick that up. And that was really just DMC flosses and I think Q snaps. Can't remember. I don't think it was for any fabric or anything. I don't remember that, but could have been. It was almost a week or so ago that I ordered it, so I need to get up there and pick that up maybe tomorrow. So my only haul is going to be a sticker book that I got off of Amazon. I'm using the Book of Days. Jumped on the bandwagon with the stickers. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. I haven't been really good at using the Book of Days, but I'm hoping that I can make it a habit and get going with it. The other thing is a project bag. This is from Black Cat Stitchery. She puts in floss drops and a thing of tea and a nice little cat charm. I hope you can see that. Whoops. There it is. So that I can use now that I've shown that. So that's it for my stitching kindness. I am over 2,000 subscribers, which completely blows me away. I had no idea that this would take off like that. But I do plan on doing a major giveaway next time. I have some kitted charts, I have some fabric, and I have some charts that I would like to give away next time. So if you don't want to stay around for the knitting, then I will see you later. Otherwise, when my husband was first diagnosed with ALS, and we were kind of pretty much confined to home. I mean, he did get out a little bit, but his disease progressed so rapidly that there was no time for getting out. I was looking for a knitting pattern because knitting is my first love other than cross stitch. I'm a better knitter than I am a crocheter, but I came across these North Woods kind of Christmas stockings, and they were in a book, and there was many of them in the book, and I just went to town stitching. It occupied my mind, and I found this one in that box that came out. Then this was completely done. It's a biggie. And it didn't have lining in it, so I stuck the lining in it the other day. So this now can go back out with the rest of them. This is a snowman. I think there's a Santa. There's a moose. There's a deer. There's a bear. There's a cottage camp in the woods. I can't remember what else. But yeah, I had no idea. I didn't need any stockings, but yeah, I just kept knitting. Good way to relax for me. And having a design in it occupies my mind. I have to think about what I'm doing. And I love stitching these with the design in it. In fact, I'm going to be doing some Christmas socks with a Nordic look to them. So yeah, that was one of them. The other one was an Afghan. Not that I need another Afghan, but this one I'm pretty sure was meant for donation. It's not quite done, I don't think. I got to weave in all the ends and then put the border on. This was a pattern that I just made up in my head. Not anything formal. But at first I thought it was a baby Afghan, but it's pretty big. So I have a great niece that's having a baby. I might finish this off and give it to her. So I had forgotten all about this. And then the very last one is one that I got started on because of Caroline McNeil at Off the Grid Needle Arts. I can't remember the name. Oh, Talon. I don't have a picture of it. I'm not sure the whole pattern. I'll have to print out a new pattern. It got separated from the Afghan. I'm not quite sure where that is, but it's on my phone so I can reprint. I'm using Caron Cakes. And I don't know if there's a color on here. Pistachio. And at first I wasn't sure. My daughter picked out the yarn and I wasn't sure. She knows I like lime greens. And I wasn't sure that I would like this variegated on this, but it's turned out really well. And you can see there's a pattern in it that has been my nemesis. I think I really need to settle into working on this. I ended up having to, I work with a lot of patterns on stitching. Knitting, I've done a lot of pattern things, and I've never had a problem like this. But this graph just confused my brain for whatever reason. So I ended up having to make an enlarged copy of the frame and block it off into sections and put stitch markers on my my needles so that I knew if I was off here, I wouldn't go any further. And likewise, if I was off between the two, I would only have this much to take out. So that has helped immensely. Keeping track of what row I'm on, now that's been a whole nother issue, but yeah. And then something I have no recollection of starting. Do you guys do something like that? Of course, it's been 2 years since I've seen this stuff. I started this sweater. Obviously for donating. That's all I can think of. So, and I pulled it out, and it looks like I have pretty much the whole bodice done. So I'm going to figure out where I stopped on this. There's stitch markers on it, so I should be pretty good to figure that out. And then it's worked from the neck down. And then the hat is made separately. That's the hat. So we'll see how that goes. A lot of projects. Some I may have to. And I also found another whole quilt pattern that I had kind of sort of forgot about. It's one I started in Florida when I was down after I sold my house, and I stayed in Florida for 5 months. Bonnie Hunter, I don't know if any quilters out there follow her, but she does a very nice thing with a free scrappy quilt, and she starts in October around, I think it's Halloween Day. She releases the colors that she's picked for it, and then Black Friday she releases the intro to the quilt, the name of the quilt, and about the block, I think some of the blocks that are going into it. Now, she does not tell you what it's going to look like when it's done, although I have done, that would have been my 3rd one that I have done, and I have never been disappointed. This one here is one of her scrappy quilts. I can't remember what year this was. Well, it's got to be, I don't know. But she has a blog. It's called Quiltville blog. And she does that all completely free. She leaves the pattern up until the end of January or February. But it's released every week, a new block. So I try to keep up. I always finish it late. But this one here just needs binding on it, which is over there. I need to cut it and then get it on and get that sewn on. Right now I'm having trouble with my serger, so I'm working at getting that threaded correctly, because that's all that's wrong with it. It's, I don't know if you know about sergers, but they can be complicated to thread. This one is not too difficult, not like my old one, but I just have something that's not quite right. So that's it for the knitting. Soon as I finish my rainbow quilt, I'll start working on this Talon quilt, or Afghan again. The plans, I told you about the new starts that I'm going to be doing, and I have to start working on my Mirabilia Winter White Santa. I haven't worked on that since probably floss tube number 2. I don't remember. But I'm going to put that back on my Lowry stand and try to get some stitches in there too. On Mondays and on the 25th of each month. So my plan is, before I go to bed at night, to set my stitching area up for whatever it is that I'm going to work on in the morning, whichever place I choose to sit. And that way there's no excuse for not stitching. I was doing such a great job stitching first thing in the morning, and then I kind of fell off the wagon. So I think it's time to get back on and get myself motivated more. Can't think of anything else. It's a beautiful sunny day here in the Finger Lakes in central New York. Sun shining. It's up in the 50s, I believe, 40, high 40s or low 50s. Tomorrow's going up into the 60s. My daughter and I are going to meet at the storage unit tomorrow and take some pictures of the furniture over there so that I can work on getting that emptied out. I know Habitat for Humanity won't come pick it up without pictures, and I get that. They don't want to pick up junk, though there's not much out there that's junk, but there's an old steamer rounded top chest that I just don't have any room for. There's a cedar chest that there is no room for it, and a table, a dresser, a mirror, yeah, a lot of things. So I just need to get them to pick up the furniture so that I can, get rid of whatever else is left and get that emptied out, swept out, and so I don't have to pay for it another month. Yeah. So I need to thank you all for all of your comments. This has been a great ride. Interesting enough, I think I said about listening to my horoscope this morning. That was kind of interesting. So if you're talking about me, I hope it's all good and that we'll see each other soon. Let me know if you're going to the Steel City Stitchers Retreat or Stitch North. Let me know. All right, I will see you soon. Keep your head up high, positive thoughts, and one foot in front of the other. Goodbye.